I now recognize the representative from Georgia, Ms. Greene.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I can assure everyone the threat we face is millions of people that came into our country under the Biden administration and full Democrat control under the past 4 years. In Joe Biden's first few days and months as president and full Democrat control of this country, the Biden administration stopped construction of the border wall, unlawfully granted mass parole. That means he let thousands and thousands of people in this country every single day, expanded the grounds for claiming asylum to pretty much anybody and everyone, implemented catch and release. Oh, if they caught them, they just released them in with here's some paperwork, here's a free flight, here's a bus ticket, and if you make it to New York City, taxpayers in New York and other sanctuary cities will pay for you to stay. He terminated cooperative agreements and took just about every action possible to facilitate the largest invasion of our country and create the highest national security threat in our homeland that our country has ever faced. Ask any angel parent how they feel today about federal workers losing their jobs. You know what they're going to say? They're going to say the United States government failed our family because our child or family member were murdered by an illegal alien that shouldn't have been in this country. Ask Laken Riley's mother how she feels about that. Ms. Bernard and Ms. Lang, in your testimony, you stated that in a 2024 OIG report, CBP could not biometrically confirm the identity of all persons seeking entry in vehicles at land ports of entry, nor did CBP maintain consistency in operational procedures to screen all vehicle passengers prior to allowing these non-citizens into the country. We knew that CBP wasn't verifying the identities of people crossing the border in between ports of entry, but they weren't even able to fully identify people at ports of entry in cars. That would be like us opening up our doors to our house, opening up our windows, and not checking to see who's coming in with our children in our house. You also testified that OIG assessed DHS's actions related to the screening process of suspected terrorists, and in 2022, CBP missed multiple opportunities to verify that an apprehended alien was a positive match for the terrorist watch list before releasing the migrants into the community. Terrorist watch list, ladies and gentlemen. This included not providing information requested by the FBI's Terrorist Screening Center, which would have confirmed a positive match. Ms. Bernard and Ms. Lang, why did these failures occur under the Biden administration? Ms. Bernard.
Yeah, thank you. This is a critical area for us. We've done a lot of work to look at border security, and in that particular project that you mentioned, we were looking specifically at how CBP was conducting screening and vetting at ports of entry. Our focus was on the technological capabilities, resources, and processes that they were using. And yes, we did find challenges in biometric screening capabilities. One was that biometric capabilities are not available at all land border crossing lanes. And the second was that on occasion, they would forego screening passengers. So if there was a backlog of high volume of travelers coming across the port of entry, they may waive the screening of the passenger and only do the driver.
So to increase people coming, let's move the traffic along. Yeah, that's a complete failure. Ms. Lang, can you explain?
I can speak to the release of the individual who was a match for the watch list. We found that that happened because of weaknesses that we see across DHS, which is ineffective practices, poor information sharing within CBP itself, staffing constraints on the part of CBP, and really it was paper processes, relying on paper files, moving them across the country. So if these vulnerabilities can be addressed, we did make one recommendation to the department about this particular case, but the recommendation can be used more broadly across their processes.
Right, so these were the policies of the Biden administration, just to be clear. The Democrats had full control and they allowed millions of people in the country. Mr. Chairman, President Trump and his administration is doing a great job. Tom Homan is leading as border czar and has reduced the crossings from thousands every single day to less than 300. This isn't about resources. This isn't about how many federal employees we have. This is a difference in an election, and this is what the American people voted for: border security and the promises that President Trump made. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.